Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Mercedes and this is the Frugal Life with Mercedes. So what is frugality? I think that there's a lot of people that are confused about, they think that frugality, stinginess, and cheapness, or being poor, are all the same things, and that's not true. I've made videos about the difference between being cheap and frugal before, but it's been a while. So frugal means being economical or thrifty and avoiding waste. It is a lifestyle of consciousness. So you are maximizing saving money and minimizing the use of resources. Sorry in advance, I'm looking down, but I made some notes. So you're prioritizing needs over wants and making informed decisions. If you have a frugal lifestyle, you are choosing to spend less so that you can save more and invest. Frugal emphasizes long-term value, while cheapness is prioritizing the minimum price. When you're frugal, you use credit cards wisely. You avoid unnecessary spending. And something that's really important to me and something that I really emphasize is I only spend money on things that are important to me. So I don't worry about what other people have or don't have. I don't worry about how I look or am perceived to people because the people that actually know me, they value what's inside my heart, not the kind of car that I drive or whether I have a designer bag or not. So really, the opinions of strangers on the street, you really want to go into debt to satisfy strangers on the street? That seems a little strange to me. So I don't participate in that. That basically sums up what being frugal is. It is a mindset, it is a lifestyle, and it is prioritizing what is important to us. I also want to point out that a lot of frugal people are concerned about the environment and the environmental impact of overconsumption. And a lot of frugal people are minimalists or strive to be minimalists, don't like a lot of clutter. There's also a lot of people that are frugal that are either on the autism spectrum or have possibly OCD or ADD, and all those extra items in their house would overwhelm them and give them anxiety. So there are a lot of people in those categories that are over consuming, and their brain cannot rest when they're home because they've got 20 Amazon packages and they've got crap everywhere. So some people have noticed that it really helps with anxiety. Even someone with a typically developing brain, a typical brain, such as somebody without any of those things that I mentioned. So that's what frugality is. It is a conscious decision to not overspend. It is a conscious decision to make informed decisions about what you bring into your home and what you leave outside the door. I also want to point out that frugal people tend to be very generous. I can only speak for myself. I am very generous. I coupon and I donate stuff and I give stuff to family and friends freely. I'm not sitting there concerned about the price of the items that I give away. So frugal is not about being low income. It is not about being poor. It's not about stinginess. It's about a conscious decision to live a different lifestyle. And something that I find really interesting is that you will see a lot of people, especially online, who really want us to get back to old-fashioned values. But really what they mean by that is they want to drive an F-450 or some other extravagant, huge car that they're never going to pay off, and that they don't need and they can't afford, why they tell their wife what to do. That's not good old-fashioned values. Frugality is good old-fashioned values. If you look at what maybe your grandparents or great-grandparents did, they were frugally minded people. And I'm even talking about before the Great Depression. I know a lot of people bring up like how grandma lived during the Great Depression and they had to stretch everything and save every dollar. But historically, if you look back even further from that, that's how people lived. The vast majority of people lived very frugally. That was just the mindset that was instilled in them. A lot of people, especially when you're talking about America, were immigrants. So they came from someplace that maybe there wasn't a lot of opportunities, so they came to the country. They came to the U.S. not with very much, and then they kind of had to pull themselves up from their bootstraps and like make something of themselves. There's also a lot of like pioneers. If you look back then, I personally love Laura Ingalls Wilder books. If you read those books, like they just made do with what they had. They went to town, what was like once or twice a year, and so they had to make things stretch, and they had to go out into the forest and be like, okay, how can we be self-sufficient and be frugal and be happy? So to me, that is good old-fashioned values, is frugality. So I actually kind of find it funny when somebody talks about good old-fashioned values, but they're not frugal. I'm like, that's good old-fashioned values 101. Just kind of my opinion. So I hope that clears up what exactly frugality is. And it can be a lifestyle choice. And I don't feel deprived at all. Frugality is not about being deprived. I drive a really nice, reliable car, but I can afford it. I have some nice jewelry pieces, all paid off. All my tattoos were paid for in cash. I get my nails done. I set aside the money for that. But something like a designer bag, I've never had one. I probably never will because I don't value that. We go on day trips and little vacations, but we do it in a more economical way. We are not putting that on a credit card. We pay cash for those trips because that's important to us. So you can have a regular American life and do it much cheaper and not jeopardize your future for it. And I promise you, if you give frugality a honest chance, it'll change your life. And you will be beating yourself up to why didn't I do this sooner? So I hope that maybe some of you will consider joining the Frugal Club. And if you're watching this video, you either already are frugal or you are interested in becoming frugal. And there's room for all of us here. And anybody can join. It's, free membership because we're frugal. We're not going to charge you. And I hope that some of you will be convinced. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing to my channel. If you did not know, I have an Instagram, The Frugal Life with Mercedes. Until next time, guys, bye.